Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back or welcome. Today I'm doing a reading vlog. So I am finally picking up some highly anticipated romance releases for me. I'm just gonna run through the books that I'm hoping to get to in this vlog so we can get into it. I can't guarantee I'm gonna get to all of them. It's a little ambitious. I am behind on some read along and book club reads, but these are the ones I hope to get to. So let's get started. First, I wanna read Always Practice Safe Hex by Juliette Cross. I'm very excited for this. I've been excited for this book since Walking in a Witchy Wonderland, where we first hear about Livy and Gareth's competition and angst. And Gareth is going to be a hero that's a Grimm, which has had a lot of mystery within this series. So I'm excited about the reveals. I've heard nothing but good things. Next, I got a freaking arc for Inferno by Amara Rae. So I know for a fact I'm gonna read that in this. This is the third in her Immortal Coven series. I mean, this is just like paranormal, tumultuous political climate with fierce heroines and possessive heroes. I love it. Very excited about this one. Next, I wanna get to A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. This is a historical with a trans heroine, and I have to get into this. I'm very excited. I also want to read, let's see if I can get it right, That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf by Kimberly Lemming. The first book in the series is on my favorites of the year so far, because this is just like freaking comedic writing. It's a fantasy world. She's not taking herself too seriously, and I love this cover. So hopefully I get to that as well. And let's see. Oh, I also want to read The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shoup. I've heard nothing but good things about this as well. So, we're definitely gonna start with Always Practice Safe Hex, and I will be back when I have more thoughts. That far in, but I have to update because I'm happy to report this is already sexy. Okay, it's fun and it's absolutely hilarious. Like her sister giving her romance advice through romance novels. I was like, not the Viscount Who Loved Me, okay? And it is true. That book has taught us that animosity can be a really great aphrodisiac. I love to see it. That is such a fun additive. Clara's Romance Book Club. It's been mentioned before, and I was really excited about this book because of Walking in a Witchy Wonderland. I knew I was gonna get this kind of angst, and I love how Juliette puts it in the beginning. Through Livy, Livy says that she has a hate-lust roller coaster of emotions when it comes to Gareth, and it's very that. It isn't hate, they're just embedded in competition. And the prologue is not only sexy, it's very exciting because up until this point, Grimms and the full scope of what they're capable of in terms of magic has been a well-kept secret, and we are slowly getting the reveals. And so I'm gonna leave the prologue for you to enjoy, but I will say that that reveal does turn the heat up on their situation here, where Gareth has been very much trying to throw her off of the scent as to how undone he is when it comes to all things Livy. And now they are forced into further proximity because they are two of the three finalists in this PR campaign or competition where they're being tasked with picking a cause and building out an entire campaign. So they're going to be working closely with each other as they make their way to the prize. And so I like how confident Gareth is, although Livy would call him arrogant. He's brilliant. And he's also has depth. I mean, the cause that he's really advocating for is a touchstone for his backstory. And, I mean, there's really no competition in that. And it also just like makes him all the more endearing because it's altruistic. And I'm really interested in getting like a broader in-depth view of just him as a character and his backstory, because he was an orphan, and he was in foster care, but being a young Grimm in foster care within a human system without the support, I just love how he wants to use his resources to give back and provide for the kid that he once was, because there isn't anything within the magical community for children like he was. And I just found that to be I love it. I love it. I love it. And he's also a bit of a feminist, which is interesting. I think it's safe to say that, like, even though they're in this competition and he and her are like baiting each other, he still protects her, you know, and defends her honor and is in awe of how she's dealt with small-minded men in such a joyful and delightful way. I don't know. I am going to stop talking. I really don't want to like give away too much, but this is delightful. Oh my God. And have you ever had a moment, I'm just going to set you down because, you know, I'm about to go in. Have you ever had a moment in a book where the author is verbatim spelling out something that you have felt? There is a moment in this book already where I feel completely seen, okay? Because when Clara, her sister, is giving her advice through romance novels and in a very gentle way highlighting the fact that Livy is really used to being with people that she can dominate, and Garrett is not that. And she's really trying to highlight the pattern that she's been in terms of relationships. And not to bury the lead here, but like she brings up sapiosexuals, which I absolutely, I'm definitely a sapiophile, but the way that Juliette puts this in words, I'm trying to put you like on the floor. Okay, work. I died when I read this part, so I'm gonna share it. Even though I have a dedicated place on my channel to do this, I don't care. I have to, because I was like, oh my God. So, you know, Claire's trying to help her out here, clock the pattern and how she might need somebody that she can stand on equal footing with. As Livy puts it, an introverted dominant. I just fucking love this book. I'm sorry. Okay, but she says, I suppose she was right. I was stimulated by my brain first. So no matter how beautiful my partner was, if the cerebral stimulation wasn't there or if it waned, so did the chemistry. I have literally felt exactly that. When she talks about how, when Clara talks about how a sapiosexual is someone who's sexually attracted to intelligent people, meaning their brilliance is the most important trait to draw your interest. I mean, spell me out. I like appreciate this because for a really long time, I thought that that just made me an elitist and it rubbed me the wrong way. I thought there was something wrong with that, but like, you know, attraction is a lot of fun, but it doesn't move me. There's no depth to that. And I can definitely relate to Livy realizing that she's attracted to brilliance and clocking that in all of her partners, but also that's a double-edged sword, okay? Like being drawn to intelligence and then also it feeling vexing in that it can also be a challenge. It can also be like pulling teeth. It can also be arduous to constantly have everything heightened in that way. challenged in that way, that kind of seeing at all times could be a lot, like when you have a partner like that. Anyway, I went on a huge tangent. I just felt seen in this moment. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm very excited about learning more as to what the Grimms are capable of. I'll be back. I'm gonna stop. I'll be back. It has been a long day off for me. I was a really bad vlogger today. I gave you some of it, but I just have to pop on here before I finish this book because this is such a delightful read. I cannot with Gareth, okay? Gareth and his depth and dominance and the way that he sees her as a freaking goddess. And I'm just gonna say it. This has one of my favorite paranormal steamy scenes, okay? I mean, the reveals on what Grimms can do have just delivered. I had to literally pause and DM Jen because I knew that she had freaking read this already and I just wanted to check and make sure that we were getting what I thought we were getting. And we got it, okay? And it's true to the title. And it was just giving me the worship that I live for. Oh, it was so yummy. I think what works so well with this is that the desire between them is really already out there. It's if Livy is going to open that door and allow him to walk through it in light of them being in this competition, which is not at all a compelling argument or strong enough to eclipse her intrigue, okay? And I was glad to see it. This is not a slow burn, people. Woo! I also enjoy the found family aspect within this, being that Gareth doesn't know what it's like to be a part of or even be around a big and loving family, and the Savoy sisters just take people in and welcome them with open arms. And so those moments in this are just so heartwarming. I also like the scenes between him and like a member of his, like the familial support in his family. I like those scenes. And the romances that are being set up, oh my God, I'm salivating. And I appreciate the way that it's being done because it isn't heavy-handed, okay? It's just happening around Livy and Gareth's story. I love to see it. I'm trying not to like give spoilers and be a bit vague. I'm enjoying what she's doing with the mystery so far. I like how tormented Gareth is in terms of not being able to fully unleash himself with her. And I know that that has to happen. So I'm interested in seeing how. And I'm also enjoying how playful and open Livy is being in terms of their connection at this point. I'm here for this. I'm loving it. I want to make a 5-star prediction because I am just loving every note of this. Oh, this is my favorite so far. Oh my gosh. I'll be back. I don't want to just sit here and like ooh and ah and sigh. I will be back when I have more thoughts, okay? Okay, I I need to give you a little bit of a book haul before I get into these updates, because I'm a little shooketh at this new Barnes & Nobles that I visited. They told me that they had A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall on their shelves 2 weeks ago. Only 5 copies, but 2 weeks ago. And they also had Wicked Beauty, which I believe doesn't come out until June 7th. I'm just like, and I really wanted this copy. Not only am I collecting the series, but I love that they have the step back in this. I couldn't believe that they had this on the shelf. They also had one last copy of The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe. And I had to get a physical copy of ACOTAR because I am rereading it for the SJM along. I'm going to be on Crystal's channel on the 31st. And so I am catching up because I'm behind in Throne of Glass. So I'm going to be reading Air of Fire. And then along with the physical copy, I want to listen to the graphic audio. It's on AnyPlay. And I've already started to just kind of get an idea. And I love it so much. It's like a film. So I needed a physical copy to kind of go through. My first time around reading this, I read an ebook and I still have all of those notes. So this should be fun. I'm very excited about that. But I'm a little shook about this Barnes & Noble, she said that they had Wicked Beauty on the shelf a week ago. And when she showed me the historical romance section, the way she was talking about it, it just felt like she didn't know why it was such a big deal that these were up early. It's as if she didn't know what she had and they're just throwing things up way too soon. Maybe not. This is probably common. It just has never happened for me. I remember during the Rake Appreciation Society, somebody sharing that, The Bride Goes Rogue was in their Barnes & Noble early, but I've never experienced it. And the fact that the sales associate called the historical romance section, that she said, anything that's Dukish, Dookie is going to be in this section. And I was just kind of okay, noted. I will be back because y'all are throwing books up on the shelves real early, and it doesn't seem to be a problem, and it seems like you don't know what you have. So I will be back to that Barnes & Nobles, and I am here to report that I have finished Always Practice Safe Hex. It's a 5-star read for me. It is my favorite in the series so far, and I suspect I'm going to keep saying that as she continues to write within this series, because the glimpse that I got of Ruben and Jules' romance, it's just so fascinating. The lore and the way that the magic works in this world. I love it so much. And with this book, what I will say about the third act is I really appreciated the sort of message that our goals and the things that we want to accomplish in life may pan out differently than we planned them to, because Gareth and Livy both want something out of the competition that they are in, and they believe that in order to garner success that they have to win. However, things unfold in a different way, and I know for me personally, I need that messaging that the things that I want to accomplish in life may unfold in a much better way than I could have ever planned or expected, and to have faith in that. And I loved that about this book. I loved reading that for them. I also thoroughly enjoyed the literal manifestation of Livy taking on Gareth's darkness. That scene is a highlight for me. The aftermath is almost comical in his concern and protection of her, and then it's kind of wrapped up in warmth because Livy is so accepting of him, his secrets, and of his past. And I just love how he gets a family through her and the acceptance that he's always needed. And probably convinced himself that he didn't. So I love that about them. I love that he treats her like a literal goddess, and that he can go toe to toe with her mentally. And it almost seems like the relationship has this sort of childlike wonder, and that she'll always have something to learn and explore with him. going back to that sapiosexual conversation, I just loved them. This was swooning. It was so sexy, not at all a slow burn, and I absolutely appreciated it. Oh, it was everything. I also started Inferno, the arc for Amara Rae, and oh my gosh, this book. In this one, the Hybrid Coven, I've talked about this series before on my channel. I've talked about Lifeblood and I've talked about Hydrus. I will try to link something below and give you a timestamp so you can just sift through, because I am long-winded and they may be in longer videos. But in this book, the Hybrid Coven is still dealing with the witch council that is after them. Throughout this series, their animosity and prejudice has been built up, and it really stems from fear of their abilities and really their potential to take them out. This is very much a stick it to the woe man type of story. And so Willow is being tasked with getting support from the berserkers. And I'm not that far in, but Willow has fire magic. She's a warrior. She enjoys battle. And she wants to take this task on to sort of make up for not being there for her sisters and failing to protect them. And so she takes this on. She journeys to the Berserker Society that lives underground. Their way of life is really one of hiding and sort of a mystery, because in the past, witches almost successfully wiped them out. And so she learns very quickly when she gets there that it is an impossible task, because after doing something very valiant for their people, she realizes that in order to gain an audience with their leader, which they call like Theron, he's the leader of the brood of berserkers. I mean, to even earn a freaking audience with him, she is going to have to battle in gladiator-esque fashion against 3 of their kind in 3 rounds. Even to gain the honor of landing eyes on him when she first gets a glimpse as they're forcing her to her knees, okay? She sees Toric, okay? He is this, like, glacier, chiseled berserker of a man wrapped in loincloth and wearing a literal skull. The menace, okay, of him. It's such an oh my god moment. And he is very drawn to her defiance. And I love how he sees her beauty, but he talks about her warrior spirit and how that just illuminates her whole being and it sings to his soul. I know I'm going to love this, okay? So I'm not sure how Willow is going to get through these battles. Like, she is a warrior, but fighting against berserkers, we'll see how it goes. In fact, you know what? I'm sorry. I have to do this. Like, you know I do. I'm going to pull this quote out because I just loved it so much. Okay. And then I'll wrap up with this, I swear. I'm sure I can get more of this read during work. Okay, this is how Toric describes when he sees Willow. She was a furious creature under that soft female flesh, like called to like, and she had the soul of a warrior hidden beneath the curves of her body. It gave her aura the appearance of a greater height. It sang to my very soul. Oh my God, I just love it. I'll be back with more. Okay, so I have finished work. I'm in the parking lot. There might be noise. I apologize if there is. But I have to update at this point because I see myself finishing this and I want to check in before I do. This is also an arc, so I'm not going to go completely in, but I have to hit broad strokes and say that I absolutely love Willow as a heroine. I mean, she's all freaking fire. Inferno is a proper title. From her freaking powers to her red hair to her character and to her fight, she's fire. And I love that the hero is almost drawn or bewitched by her because of her combat and her prowess. I love to see it. I'm also fascinated by the Berserker Society, the way that it's structured. They don't believe in an afterlife. They believe in strength and making this life count. And they don't even give honor and respect or even a name to the people simply just for being born. You have to earn it. And I find that very intriguing because Willow is a character that's been dishonored because of the actions of her mother. And so to read her be in a situation where her choices and her prowess and what she's really good at, like her fight, can be measured on her own merit. And I love to see that. She's also, I think it's accurate to say, the first heroine within the series that has no hesitation when it comes to the steam. Like, on a primal level, she is game for the simple enjoyment of it. And she's not using it to get ahead in terms of the process that she has to undergo to garner this audience. And it's interesting because getting an audience with him is how she's going to help her coven. There's so much weight on that. The stakes are very high because she feels as though she has failed them before. This is her shot. She truly has been made for it. And I am really loving their dynamic. I didn't know we were getting a virgin hero. I'm just gonna say that. But I'm enjoying this. Like I said, I am just like blazing through this book. I will have it done tonight, so I'll probably be back after that. I know that I want to go to Secret Pizza at the Cosmo. I've been wanting to go since I read Vicious Union by Jocelyn Soto. She mentions it. It's a very Vegas thing. I have heard of Secret Pizza, but I haven't gone. So I need to actually find it first. I'm going to spoil the location in the B-roll. Maybe I won't. I'll show you where I'm going, but I'm going to go grab some pizza. The Cosmo now is an MGM property, so I should be getting free parking. So I want to go over there and maybe wrap this up over at their casino, maybe at home. We'll see. You'll know before I do. And I'll be back when I have more thoughts. Secret Pizza. It's a secret restaurant that's not so secret, but it has speakeasy vibes because I think I keep passing it and I don't know where like the secret passageway is. Oh my god. And check out this. I keep getting caught up in like all of the freaking artwork here. I know you're not here for this, but I mean, I love it. I love this. Like, it's just fabulous. Are you kidding me? She's fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna find it so I can hopefully settle in and get some more reading. finished Inferno by Amara Rae, and this series just keeps getting better and better. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say this has something that I live for in romance, which is that each HEA not only is transformative for the couple, but for the world around them. This romance is definitely exemplar of that. And one huge takeaway for me is the way that she characterizes what a warrior truly is and what going into battle is for Torek and what that becomes for Willow. It's this idea that the opportunity to engage with an opponent is truly an opportunity for them to triumph over aspects of themselves. And I found that to be very compelling, and it made me see the Berserker way a little bit differently, because they do heavily prioritize honor. And it's almost as if through that lens, they're honoring self-mastery, you know, and rewarding that. I also love a moment that Willow arrives to. Up until that point, the control that she has over her magic has been very fickle, and she realizes that that was possibly so because she had yet to do the work or yet to be a good steward of the vessel that her power was contained by herself. I just thought it was so beautiful. I love how sexy his possessiveness was, how gone Torek is for Willow, how all of the practical and political reasons for why they can't be together just fall away. I also enjoyed how understanding she is in the fact that he's not emotionally well-versed, okay? He is a man of action and very few words. So when she gets them, they have meaning. I loved where this landed in terms of the ending. It absolutely has a ripple effect within their world and what they are trying to do. And it's just, oh, I love it so much. I cannot recommend this series enough. Again, I'm gonna link the video below where I talk about Immortal and Hydrus. It's just so good. It's 5 stars. This is a 5-star read. Again, like this just keeps getting better and better. I've also been a busy little bee, and I picked up A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. It was just sitting there staring at me, and I had to pick it up. I mean, I've never read anything like this. A historical with a trans heroine. I mean, this is truly a friends to lovers romance unbeknownst to the hero. And it follows she's not a lady, okay? Viola Carroll is a lady's companion, and she is free to live as herself, and that freedom has come at great cost. And in the beginning of this book, a letter is sent by the sister of her best and wartime friend, the sister of the Duke of Gracewood, Justin. And it is after that letter arrives and they answer it, she's sort of confronted with how choosing herself has cost him as well. She was presumed dead during the war, and that was the opportunity that she took to live as herself. And when they arrive to the Duke's home, she not only finds him drowning in wartime trauma, but also over the grief of the loss of his beloved best friend. And it's heart-wrenching for her to witness. And it's a huge risk for her to be there because she's worried about getting clocked. I mean, it just takes one person to recognize her and to start asking questions, and yet she chooses to stay to help him get back to himself. And so, I mean, there are already a lot of heavy issues on the table, and Alexis Hall is just so good at pulling out and highlighting the comedy and drama. I mean, even in the beginning of this book where, you know, she gets to see the state of him. I mean, he's in a drunken stupor and he shoots at them. Oh my God. And she makes a joke of it. And Lady Marlowe, I mean, the woman that she's a companion of and truly like, you know, her dearest friend, is so freaking pushy. She doesn't miss a freaking comedic beat. She's outspoken, no filter. And she is quick to call out this welcome and not let him live it down. And also she's quick to sort of call out Viola's fears. She isn't dismissive of her feelings, but I think her character is used to be very direct about the simplicity in the solution to the problems that arise in Viola's head. And, you know, it may read as aloof to some readers, but to me, I mean, just her very frank challenging of who would recognize you and what do you think they're looking for? It's just very as if she is affirming the woman that is before her and nothing else. And I love that. I love that about the side characters in this so far. They're very robust. They're colorful. They're hilarious. Miranda, the Duke's sister, is very socially awkward, and she too has no filter in a very endearing way. But the romance in this, the way that he sees Viola, how he's so hyper aware of her presence, her beauty, her character, her kindness, it is just so, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save 10 minutes and just pull a quote from a scene that I just got out of. And out of context, it's one of caretaking where Viola is giving him a shave because he's unable to do so due to tremors. And it's just, I mean, there are so many of these, but I'm gonna like just go to that for the sake of time here and just highlight this. So this is just a luscious moment. She's close to his face and this is what he says. This is how he feels. This is how he sees her. He could have counted the shadows between her lashes, the tiny curls that clustered at her brow, the freckles across the bridge of her nose only half concealed beneath a dusting of powder. It had never occurred to him to question beauty before. He always assumed it was obvious. Fine eyes or a trim figure, rosebud lips, or hair of whatever color was currently fashionable. But it wasn't. It was details. The way you could wait forever for the dimple to appear beside someone's mouth, unable to imagine ever growing tired of seeing it. I mean, the reveries that Viola elicits. And he has reveries of trauma, and she's grounding for him. Him saying in the same scene when he's taken back to the war, he focused on that, on the memory of Miss Carroll's fingers across his throat, the warmth she had left behind, like gold leaf against his skin. He was here with her, safe in a way that for perhaps the first time in years was neither hollow nor just another defeat. I mean, Alexis Call characterizes this scene of care as the hazy sweetness of being cared for. I cannot with this book. I just think it's so beautiful. Their connection is immensely felt. And how Viola senses this from him. And there's also this sort of like ease and comfort. And of course, it's like the joy of being able to see her friend come live to himself or come into himself again, but also this sort of trepidation that he is truly seeing her, wanting him to truly see her, and also the fear of that. It's just so freaking good. So I'm gonna jump back into it and I'll be back when I have more thoughts. finished A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. Oh my gosh. One thing that I do want to say about this is the inevitable that is going to happen in this book, the reveal. I appreciate the way that it was done and when it happens in this book. I just want to say that Grace Wood's initial reaction is so counter to what I assumed it would be. And also Viola's response to that reaction was interesting because it's very counter to her feelings up until that point. And I think it is her moment. And it also kind of hits that touchstone to the fact that it doesn't ring true to who she truly is. And it's the first time I read her advocating for herself. So, you know, the moment does settle in and those feelings of betrayal and anger and hurt that we would expect for this moment do wash over us and they do settle in. But I loved the initial response to this. I loved how they're both coming into this scene with strong arguments. It made for a compelling read. And, you know, Grace Wood is really placed in a position to kind of hold space for feelings that she's had years to sit with while in real time he's processing his. I was very worried that he would be made to grovel. And I will say this just has a beautiful wing in it, but I do like that Alexis Hall didn't go in the groveling route because it validates Grace Wood's feelings. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I'm saying too much, but I appreciate, again, when that happens in this book, how it happens, and what comes out of it. This is so freaking beautiful. Oh my God. It's so beautiful. Again, I love the side characters. They're colorful and robust and hilarious. I really enjoy how Viola is not only able to be herself because she chooses herself, it's the people around her that are so supportive and accepting. There is something in the third act that came out of like left field, in my opinion. It isn't between our couple, it's an external conflict. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, although I do like that it places them on the same team, puts Viola in a different role in relation to his life, and does spark conversations for the future. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. How that's also illuminating for a side character that is very sweet and endearing and coming of age. That's all I'll say. I absolutely loved this. I'm gonna rate it a 4.5, and I'm just happy that this book is out and in the world. I mean, come on. Some of the quotes in this are just absolutely breathtaking. I absolutely loved this. I'm gonna be honest. I have picked up That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. I am halfway through that book and I'm enjoying that as well. But I'm going to try and close this vlog out here and save those thoughts for my end of the month wrap up, where I'm sure I will talk extensively about it. I also realized, I don't know why I don't have the book in here, I just bought it, that The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe, I'm going to be doing an Instagram live show with Melissa Berne, and I'm going to save my thoughts for this book for that. In fact, I'm going to be on a few lives, so I plan on throwing that schedule up in my community tab. I hope that you can join us. Maybe editing me can throw the graphic up here. I will also post it in my stories on Instagram, and I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you can consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.